Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassa, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Well, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and all of our viewers across the globe. This is Real Talk Corner, where conversation sparks change and every voice matters. I'm your host, Dr. Esther Cruickshank, and with me is my bubbly, joyful Hadassa Charles McLeod. Yes, the best co-host you can ever have. How are you, girl?
Oh, wow. The Mama Guys, hi this evening.
All right.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It's great to be on another episode. I hope everybody is doing well. We are almost down to the last day of the week. So I'm hoping everybody is having good, productive weeks and you're getting on everything that you need to get done and enjoying the last prices. How are you doing, Esther?
I am joyful, Gil. The joy of the Lord is my strength today. I am joyful. You wouldn't believe. I'm happy, but and I'm laughing all day listening, scrolling through some comments and different things, and I'm saying, the people who are talking about um, only $1 drop on the gas price. I tell myself they drank the P&M Balize juice. They're so accustomed to high taxes. This budget, it did something weird to them because you have never have a budget where anything has decreased. So the gas has decreased and they're complaining about that. I think they wanted more taxes. They would have been happy if they heard prices went up and taxes went up and so on. That is what they wanted. Because I can't understand how they're complaining. Everything is a problem. They're talking about the corporation and the banks who have to pay tax. They will pass it on to the small man. How could they pass it on to the small man? They're not accustomed paying. Or you should be glad that the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister decided that those on top have to pay taxes too. And they cannot pass it on to us or else we would riot. Now self, come in, but used to say he raised this and he raised that and we didn't riot. Well, it's now self we need to go out and riot. If the bank and the corporation and these big firms and company decide that they're going to pass on anything, even the landlords, what is so difficult with, okay, it is simple, and when you work, you get a salary and it is taxed. So when they receive an income, they receive their rent money, and it's taxed, what, $70 based on what, 2,500, whatever it may be. It is not property tax. It's a normal NIS health surcharge, how normally you say it, a normal tax. Pay as you earn, okay? Pay as you earn. That's supposed to be across the board. It never was, and now it is. They can't pass that on to their renters. Then they're really greedy and wicked. Okay, so I am happy what took place with the budget, but it seems as though some people are not happy because they are accustomed with their eye being gouged out and they wanted that. Even though they can't afford to pay when the P&M put their budget in place and they can't pay, they prefer that. A good budget like this and everybody's still complaining. Nobody's supposed to complain. It was all inclusive. Everybody get an opportunity to pay tax. And they're not Trinidadians, and they're not people willing to see the economy grow. Is only the small man supposed to help the economy grow? Come on, man. I am happy, but these people, they're sad. They're real sad, Hadassa, it feels so good that nothing has raised. Today I was in the supermarket, people walking and they're smiling. I've never seen people smile like they smile today. You understand? People just, you're feeling the sense of relief. There was no high taxes. What's wrong with these people? These handful of people only talking a pack of strippiness. I see one on social media, Hadassa, she put up how much money the corporations get. and comparing the PNM corporations to the UNC corporation. These people have no time to do nothing constructive but to waste it. Come on, when the PNM was in power, even though I'm not saying this is what we have to do, but when the PNM was in power, the UNC Rural Corporation didn't used to get no set of money either. So if you feel that way, suck it up, no man. But they still get in. Suck it up. All the PNM people who drank the juice of the Balize, because it's not all PNM like that.
Hear what? The juice of the Balize is real. It is real. Speaking as a convert, speaking as a former PNM supporter, they honestly believe that when the PNM increases gas prices, imposes property tax, and things get higher when they remove subsidies and stuff like that, they actually believe that they are contributing to society because the PNM convinces them that they need to be fiscally responsible, that they cannot afford to give subsidies on gas and things like that. So they actually believe that they are participating in propping up the economy, right? I've told the story before when Keith Rowley won in 2015 and his first address to the nation was that there are, dark days ahead and people have to tighten their belts and stuff like that, giving the illusion that the UNC had emptied out the treasury and that there was no money and whatnot and whatnot. And the first thing that he did was he raised the price of gas. I remember driving in my car and telling myself that yes, this is a smart move because we all have to be smart, right? We all have to contribute and we all have to do what we need to do to pull our country back from the gutter, right? So it is actually a mentality, right? So the PNM, they really are confused by the UNC making these different moves, reducing prices and things like that. They are confused. They don't know how to deal with it. They really like Bazudi, right? So I really understand how they think. I understand the thinking, but it goes to show how deep the indoctrination of the PNM has gone. It goes to show how deep in a cult you can be, that even when somebody is saying, look, I cut the ropes, John Crow, I've set you free. When they say prices are lower, they cannot accept it because they have gotten accustomed to this very abusive relationship with the former administration. Is like when women who are in domestic violence situations, they actually believe that when the man beats them, it means that he loves them, right? So they don't know how to deal with this new type of love, this new type of taking care of you and whatnot. They really don't know.
Based on what my co-host just shared. But it is real, people. The country is not going to crash. Things are going to get better. You just froze up for a while, my dear. So I'm just saying, it is from hearing you and what you said, it meant that the PNM supporters who have drank the Balize juice thinking that the country is going to crash now. They're actually thinking that things is going to get bad because taxes didn't go up and prices didn't go up and all of this. So they're not accustomed. Actually, they're still in the chains. The chain have been loosened from the neck, but they're still in the chain mentally. So it is really a sad thing, and I hope that they will get over it. I really hope. Let me take this
Yes.
opportunity to okay. Okay, the internet just gave us a little drop there and kind of bounce off who was there with us. But listening to you there, Hadassa, I'm saying to myself, even when I was a supporter of the PNM, I never felt like that. Because I think I always, since growing up as a young person, always had an open mind and always ready to make changes. So it is easy for me to navigate through anything because I don't hold on to anything. I'm a quick person to change, make different decisions. And some people, they don't like that. They find you're aggressive. When you change quickly, they find you aggressive, especially in
Yeah.
relationship with men. There are some men today, and please, men are not bashing because there are good men on this planet. There are men who women take advantage of. There are good men, yes, yes, Hadassa, there are good men. Because there are bad women, there are good women too, all right? So please, don't shake your head like that. There are good men. But it will appear that the majority, the masses of the men, they just rely on coming to a woman who have worked hard and achieved whatever she have, and they want to come and control it, and they want to come and for you to make changes, like, as though you didn't carefully think about what you were doing and put things in place. So they want to come and make you change. And I guess there are women who do that as well. This is why I love being independent, because hello, I don't want nobody mess with me too much. Okay? I like freedom. I like to be free to do what I want to do. And I'm a person, I just change like the twink of an eye. Right? You play messy and you're all messy and you're doing too much. I just change one time. That's just me. So I guess the PNM supporters who have drank the juice, I don't think all drank the juice because I didn't drink the Balize juice. It is hard and difficult for them to accept this real change that took place in decades. All right, this real change that took place on the budget yesterday, day
Yeah.
before yesterday, when everything seems to be going so smooth and that most
Yeah.
people would be able to navigate with a little more ease because
Yeah.
gas didn't went up, food price didn't go up, and a lot of things. Now everybody have to pay to communicate. Everybody has to um, put
Contribute.
towards the development of the country. They are very unhappy. Let me take this opportunity
Yeah.
to welcome our good friend from Tobago who is now in Trinidad with us, Mr. Lyndon Mack. Lyndon, how are you doing? I catch you.
Hey,
What are you looking
how
for?
are you doing? All is good?
What happened, Lyndon? You are advertising B Mobile on my program.
They are not sponsored.
They're not
Forget the
sponsoring us.
logo. Forget the logo.
Oh my goodness. What's up, bro?
How everybody doing? Hi, Becca.
We
We
good.
good. We're
How you
just
going?
trying to talk about these supporters of the PNM who have drank the Balize juice, who have not come to terms with the fact that you could have a good budget where everybody could feel comfortable and everybody can contribute to the development of Trinidad and Tobago. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, if I may, if I may counteract the goodly column in Boots, he once said, "I raised the budget by 15%. I raised it by another 15%. Then right yet, I raised it by another 15%, and then by the next year, I may raise it by another 15%. Now, taking that into consideration, now that we have the Benjamin Tanku. The Benjamin Tanku dropped fuel prices by $1 this year. And if that killing him, maybe he might drop it by another dollar next year. And if things don't go right, he might drop it by another dollar. And if that hit them, they might drop it by another dollar. And I mean, I'm just saying that looking
That's
at the
hilarious.
conversation, of course, let me just tell you, what I'm seeing now is two things. I'm seeing the government is saying they want the private sector to be more involved and to take more responsibility. I think that's a very good step in the right direction. I literally was very happy and supportive of the fact that we are saying to landlords now, you know what, you need to pay your taxes. You can't just be doing business, you're collecting money every month, and you ain't paying no real taxes. What I would love to see is that they must implement now a rental board, a real rental board, where there must be investigators that goes out and investigate. But then I had one thing that I wasn't too sure about, which was we have landlords now in different tiers because it's no longer about the people who just who are paying rent to live. And if we're talking rent, we're talking about the hotels, we're talking about the Airbnbs, the villas, we're talking about the landlords who rent commercial buildings for property. And I'm saying, if you fall, I think what the government should do is look at falling into that four-tier group. That if you are only doing the avenue of rent for persons who have to rent commercially from you, or residentially from you, you could fall into tier 1. But if you fall into tier 4, it's because you're in the residential bracket or the hotel bracket, and you should pay your fair avenue
Yeah.
of taxes, literally, to the country. I would really love to see them do a real enforcement team to accomplish that, because a lot of people haven't been paying their taxes, and Colum but it's on record saying that the government has had a problem to collect their taxes from business
Yes.
owners. So I think this is a good step in the right direction. I would love to see them drop super by $3 or $4. It's not gonna hear them all. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm already seeing in the public space. I'm already seeing in the public space persons who own gas stations are saying they're gonna lose 20 and 50,000. Hello, really? So where were you all literally when they had implemented the 15%, then 30%, then 45% increase on gas, and you all said nothing? You were happy for the increase, okay,
Yeah.
but now that there is a step now where we are saying we are not going to create that level of problem, now you're ready to ball. And this is a good
Yes.
testimony for citizens to show that a lot of business, what I have learned from this, a lot of businesses are not seriously invested into the human capital. They just
No.
believe the avenue of just paying salaries is just it. And I think literally they should take a step in the right direction further to really investigate the avenue of you trying to get away from your taxes. And it must be punishable. But if you don't pay your taxes, it must be a situation now that says we will move to seize your property. And you see, if we move to adopt that kind of United States philosophy, is now people go hold their head and ball, because it will be for the first time in this country we are calling on you to pay your fair share of taxes as business owners. So I was very, very happy for that. Where it comes to the avenue of the diversification, I had some specifications on that, and then the avenue of oil, I had some specifications on that. I want to hold on the avenue of specification because I've heard the readouts, but what I can really see, I'm already seeing companies, Deloitte, there's a company called Deloitte and another one or two companies have already written some very positive outlook on the avenue of the budget already. So if it moves the country in that form of direction, good. But we also have to prepare for the avenue of the risk management. Things that I would like to see, however, Tobago, I know Tobago celebrated its win for the highest budget. Very, very good. However, for me, it's not just about the avenue of the highest budget, because outside of that money being spent back into Tobago space, a lot of that money is going back into recurring expenditure. And I
Yes.
think now the Cabinet Officer needs to be very careful in ensuring that, one, are they seriously going to deliver to the people of Tobago based on the promises made by the Chavez Augustine administration, of which where we are saying we are looking at the idea of more autonomy. What does that seriously look like in the space of productivity? Because we have a higher budget now. But could we say immediately we could pump $1 billion into the avenue of diversification? I don't think so. But I'm just saying that no, this Chavez Augustine government has no excuse not to make some hard decisions to ensure Tobago gets that where they are trying to move the country from, they should now be able to prove having the highest budget in the history that they are now putting real policies in place to set off the next part of that conversation. They have no excuse now to tell the public directly that they haven't been able to get in anything. So looking at that, I think that's something that I personally would like to see coming out now of the administration, because we campaign for the avenue of Joel Sampson and David Tomo, that we're sending them to Trinidad, and that the idea of bringing Tobago's autonomy to be a realistic thing, that is the sole mission. Now that we are moving into 6 months into the conversation, we need to know now what have they done being in the avenue of there for the avenue of 6 months. And it's questions that, and I'm putting it out there first on your program, because very frequently it's going to be conversations that are going to be asked very soon. Where are we on those track records? Finally, this is the thing I would really want to see. And if I had the ability to see this to Minister Tanku, this is what I would have said to him. One, we know directly that you all are you have delivered on some hefty promises. I think public servants today can't sit there and get a promise. What we would love to see now is that it is not enough to just say we are honoring the idea of paying 10%. Is the productivity in the workplace going to change? And if it's not that, I am saying I go back to my original statement where I have stated I don't think the Kamala Prasad business should have paid that 10% immediately now, especially in the avenue of the first year, seeing that we have to change the outlook of people in the workplace for their productivity. So no more having to come and walk in the bank at 9 a.m. and I have to wait 3 and 4 hours, or I have to walk in the hospital and it's taking me 8 hours before I can get medical care. We have to know now what is the performance. And what I would love to say to Felicia Thomas is Thomas, right? Now that she is the president of the PSA, we need to know that from you, what is the standards are you setting to ensure that people in the workplace are given value for money? Because it can't be now that we wanted the Kamala Prasad businesser to give and deliver on the promises. But now the people, mindset and attitude is still the same. No,
yes,
it must mean
Linda,
real value.
hold that thought. I want to say this. That point is so effective because they get what they want. And I see that the Ministry of Health get $8 billion. So if they manage properly, now that they get their money, I hope they jump up. When they hear they're getting it, well, I hope they will jump up and do the work. They will serve the people, because at the end of the day, this is what our Honorable Prime Minister wants. Even with Tobago, once the government side of the bargain is held, that they will do what is necessary to make changes, not just take and be greedy and do not perform. We want to see service. It can't be that the government trying to do things and then on the other hand, the people are not doing what they're supposed to do. We want better service. Or they get more money, give us better service, be more diligent, do what has to be done, because it can't be that the Prime Minister giving us love and giving us what we need and then you all are shortchanging us by not giving us service. We want to see better service in the hospital, in the government ministries. When you go there, some of them are the lazy self sit down doing nothing. Well, all they get an incentive, all they getting more money. So please start to perform, because we will start to light gas all up when we come to get good service and we can't get it. We need that. The money mustn't just be there for all you to get it and relax. And you PNM supporters who have drank the ballistic juice, come on, lighten up all yourself, throw that chain off and realize that things is changing. And I support what you're saying, Lyndon. It is important that they now do what they're supposed to do. It is important that in Tobago, once they get the money, make changes, the autonomy that they now have to do things different for the people of Tobago should be seen and not just heard. We want to see it happening. Excellent. Yeah, so the point you're making is, gosh, Lyndon, if you see how that belly looking, Lyndon, that belly looking like a pillow. What me, I'm come and lie down on that belly or what? Look here. That belly looking like a pillow, boy.
I want to say, what I would love to see come through for the Kamala Prasad business administration by next year, the moving of the marijuana industry. That's one, and peg that as well to what we have on the local industry for immediate exporting. Let me be frank. I like to be frank. Business is about sales. What do we have now to entertain the idea of sales now for the purpose of exporting? Mangoes in Canada, mangoes in what we call the United States, the UK, minimum is $3 per pound. Minimum. All right? And that's at rated market rate. If we are saying that mangoes is the next apple picking campaign, then we don't want to see what's the initiative that they are setting now for the purpose of exporting. And the idea of marijuana, if it were me, I would have said to the Kamala Prasad business if I had the conversation with her, make it a 3-tier license and ensure that, one, the people who are ready to be invested into the avenue of business is really to get that done, because now there must be working to a goal. If our purpose is saying 250,000 grams at the end of the year, there must be a goal to make that happen. And it mustn't be on the government. It must not be the government who is taking that. It must be the private sector they must put out the money, and you make the concessions to them to get that done. Because we are still pegging our budget to oil and gas. Secondly, the avenue of tourism. All these marketing agencies they're having in all the government-owned hotels, that needs to stop. And I'm saying that because, one, already I have itineraries all the way up to 2027 for travels. Okay? We haven't even begun to market 2026 itinerary. Problem is that we have people within the Magdalena, we have people within the Hyatt, Hilton, and all these government-owned entities who are not training international travel agents to sell Tobago. Where are we in the avenue of packaging? Are we offering a CARICOM rate? What is the percentage for all international travel agents if they are going to what? Sell Tobago? Are we certifying them international to say, learn to sell Tobago, learn to sell Trinidad, this is your discount, etc., etc.? If we are not getting there, let me just sit down and talk the idea, because I've seen a certain chamber of commerce and I want to come gun blazing for them, talking about they want to open the idea of sandals. I want to tell the certain president, don't let him mash me corn for we to come to him. The idea of just saying you want another hotel in the island of Tobago, in my humble opinion, is just another land grab. To say, oh, we own a hotel in Tobago. We have to be selling out there internationally. I would like to hear from the ministers who are under the idea of IT and development to tell Google, tell Yahoo, and tell MSN, Caribbean is having a problem where it comes to marketing and reaching the international niche markets. And finally, the vendors must be able to pay for their advertising out there to reach those niche markets. And not just this idea of you putting yourself on a third-party platform and we depending on sales. No, we're losing money because the agencies who are supposed to be there to say, let's sell Trinidad, let's sell Tobago, they are not selling, and they haven't sold literally for 9 years. They can sell what the hell they want. They haven't been selling. We can't just sit back and depend on the third-party websites to do the selling. The vendors must do their part so that when the tourists out there, Germany is considered one of our biggest markets for the island of Tobago. When they look, summer come, they know, travel to Tobago, get lost, get married, etc., etc., wherever we fall on the niche market. These are the things we want to have done. So, that's where I have my reservations that I would love to see. Oh, and finally, Dr. Esther, culture. I would love to hear culture making the initiative that since we are moving now to what you say, patent the license for the pan all over the world, literally, once it is being produced all over the world, literally, there should be an international move for Trinidad and Tobago to collect its fair share of royalties if you are making a pan internationally. Now, when we start having those very real hard conversations, we head in the direction. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Definitely. Very, very, we're talking marketing Trinidad and Tobago now. Now that we're getting gas price going down and things, we need to market Trinidad and Tobago. I see some things as we marketed, even with our Prime Minister. Certain pictures, I don't know who are the marketing personnel. It doesn't represent our Prime Minister. She would more than that. The marketing pictures, everything is poor, right? They need to get somebody who know what to do and how to do it, to sell our country to the different countries of the world. And that's the next step that they need to take serious, okay? The people get more money, we want better service, now we need to market our nation, Trinidad and Tobago. This nonsense have to stop for too long, like you said. For the last 9 years or more, Trinidad and Tobago haven't been marketed, all right? Come get married. Jamaica, Barbados, this be marketed. Even in movies you're looking at, you don't see Barbados and Jamaica. You don't see nothing about Trinidad. Going and get married. While I'm in America, people leaving and going to Jamaica to get married from the States. They're leaving and they're going to Barbados. What happened to Trinidad? Very few people I talk to, they know about coming to Trinidad. So we need to be doing a better job at our marketing skills in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah? So, I mean, we
I
onto
ask you a
a good thing, you
question.
know.
Can I ask you a question? Let's just
Sure,
say we
sure.
have 1 point something million and we want to upgrade the amount of citizens we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Because now we want citizens to come to Trinidad and Tobago. Don't you think our citizenship by investment could have worked? We could have said to citizens out there, you want to come to Trinidad and Tobago, you want to live, you want to go away from your cold summer, pay an X amount of fine and we will directly give you the rights to come and you will live here. All those things brings
Yeah,
in forex and we have to
exactly.
find a way to sell. Yeah?
Especially for the younger people, because right now Trinidad is an aging population. All right?
Yeah, you
So
have to
we
know. You
need
have
to
to know
do
what
a
you're
lot
doing.
of those things, and it will make a whole lot of a difference. Hadassa, what do you say?
If I may, I hear everything Lyndon is saying, and to be very honest, I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. Um, I think for this first budget, I think it was very well done. I think we have 5 more years to see what's going to come. But I do know that uh, in terms of getting people to come here, selling like citizenship and things like that, all those are good ideas. And I know Mr. Kama Maraj has spoken about those things, Minister of Tourism, Trade and Commerce. But I know that the UNC may be focused on repairing our international image. Um, we have a lot of work to do in terms of repairing the way that the world sees us. Right now, a lot of people think that we are this crime ridden country. And yes, the PNM really did not help in terms of allowing crime to reign free. I feel like in a couple of years, we would be poised in a position to offer that. And I think it would really be a great way to bring revenue, but not only revenue, foreign exchange as well. And I'm looking forward to that. I agree that we did not hear a lot about tourism, but again, I also feel a lot of that is also pegged on timing. I think marketing your country to the world, it's not just a flick a switch kind of thing. I feel like I believe Kama Maraj will have a lot of things in the works for that. And I'm really not concerned. I feel like if we're getting into year 3 and we are not having these conversations, then I would be more concerned. But I know right now, Kamala Prasad Visesas, a lot of her focus is really on making sure that we can feed our population. So there's work that is going on in terms of agriculture and things like that. I know that that is very important. I know that our national security is important. And I know that she has put a lot of emphasis in terms of transforming us in terms of uh, progress, in terms of digital and, AI and all those things. So I think while we have all these, I don't know, reservations or observations or whatnot, I think we may need to be a little more patient, probably give it a year and a half. I know right now a lot of the focus is on finding money, and she has been doing a lot of good work in terms of making smart alliances. Just today, she announced that she was able to get a grant from the UAE for $35 million, which is really,
Saudi
really
Arabia.
excellent. Yes,
Yeah.
from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
There's a lot of recovery that we need to do after 10 years of PNM, but I'm pretty sure that everything that Lyndon spoke about, we will see it start to come to fruition. And if we get into year 3 or 4 and it doesn't happen, then yeah, we could start to make a whole bunch of noise. That's just my opinion.
I'm going, and I said, I'm going to officially put in my application to become an ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago. Let's see how that works.
That is
I'm afraid I have to
excellent.
go out
I
there
congratulated you.
and go out there
I no,
I'd
I
sell
think that
Trinidad
is
and Tobago.
excellent.
I think that
I think that is
that thought
excellent.
went through my mind today. I said I better become
Uh-huh.
a ambassador for Africa or something. Go and sell our country. And one of our viewers is saying that her daughter got married in Jamaica as Trinidad did not cater for the type of venue she required. Sad to see. And then they said again about
Yeah, and
cleaning
we
up the
still have
nasty,
all these
disgusting
ancient,
beaches. Our
outdated
beaches need to
laws.
be cleaned up.
Yeah, we all have
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
outdated laws that have to be amended where you can't get married after 6 p.m. So, what if you want to get married on the beach at sunset? You understand? So, we need to fix all these things. So, I'm
And the
hoping
beaches
that
are dilapidated. These our
the
beaches
government is
is not
hearing
in a
us.
good condition anymore.
Yeah, there's so much work that has to be done, so much catching up that we need to do, because we are in no way, in terms of tourism, we cannot compare with countries like Jamaica and countries like Barbados, who did not have the luxury of depending on oil and gas, and they had to get their tourism right. They had no choice, right? So now we are actually playing catch up.
And places like Anguilla and all those places, people run across
Hmm.
in those areas to get married. So, there is a lot, like you said, she's focusing after coming off from the PNM regime and realizing what's happening and the people crying out for murder, crying out for food. Yes, she's focusing on that, but while we eating and while we seeing about security, we still need to market so that money could start coming in through tourism and so on. So, it's all well and good. It might sound as though we're rushing it, but we know within a certain time things is going to happen. But all I'm saying as well is we need some proper marketing strategies to market our country. While we eat the food, say about agriculture, we need to have agriculture. If a war break out, crap us smoke our pipe here, because we're not producing food for our citizens here. Everything
Agreed.
is from outside. And as a young girl
Agreed.
growing up,
Agreed.
I remember food was planting here. We would catch our royal, and it has so much local food that we can depend on instead of all those stupid tin and frozen things that they bring in to kill us. And that is under the PNM. They bring in a set of big frozen injected chicken and all these meat. It's not good. I don't eat those things. It's not good. We used to have all of that here in Trinidad. We stop all of that, and
Yeah.
And
that is where we need to go
and
back.
and part of that literally is why we have a heavy cancer society, a heavy
Yes.
obese society. A lot of the food there are, I think, seriously under the Ministry of Health, the Chemistry, Food and Drug Division, if I remember its name properly, need to start looking into the researching of these things so that we cram down on our businessmen. This food have XYZ, you can't bring it to Trinidad and Tobago. And we need to
Right.
do that and
That's right.
start this and slash our
Yes.
importation bill and all the thick
Yes.
food that we bring in because it's easy to eat junk to get sick. But then when you get sick, now you have to
Exactly.
rely on the hospital now to fix it. It don't make sense.
And
Yeah, I
most
mean, we
cases, you
bring
don't have
in
money. You don't
we
have
bring in
money to
so
buy
much
the
of our
medication.
food from Europe, from America. But do you know when you go to Europe, they don't have American food on their shelves
No, they
because
don't.
America FDA, they allow so many different chemicals and whatnot in their food that is totally
Yes.
banned in Europe and in
Banned in
different
the
parts
youth.
of the world. So
Exactly.
we need to
That's
start to
good.
really look at the quality of our food that is really affecting the health of our citizens. That's a very good point,
Exactly.
And
Linda.
what happened with taking food from our Caribbean islands? Guyana have
Yes,
Excellent as
really
well.
good quality food. When I go to Guyana, the
yes,
Excellent.
pineapple, everything, it tastes
yeah,
so better. It's big, it's
yeah,
juicy. Barbados. What is wrong with
yeah,
us? Why we have to take food from America? Yeah, the small
yeah,
percentage who bring in who
yeah,
manipulating everything and bringing everything from America. America food is to kill us.
yeah.
America food is
And
not good.
in terms of food security, Guyana is one of the few countries that are self-sufficient. They
And they're
grow a lot
very,
of
let me
their
tell you,
own
the
food,
coconut water
and they
tastes different.
yes,
Everything.
yes,
And I'm talking
yes,
different in
yes,
tasting good, right? The
yeah,
mangoes,
You
everything
see,
is really nice. So
and they
why
have
can't we
so
take
much
food from our
fruits.
Lieutenant,
Caribbean? Yeah.
Yes,
And
you
until
see,
we
you
get
see,
it back right.
yeah.
yeah,
Until
yeah,
get it back right,
yeah,
yes. I don't think we are self sufficient enough.
No.
Very recently I was talking to someone and I was saying directly, even if we don't get to export out there, just as Dr. Esther said, our Caribbean neighbors would have been the next first best place to sell our products in and bring in that EC.
Yeah.
But when I really look at Trinidad situation, look at how easy we lost our coconut industry. Trinidad has
Yeah,
lost its
Yeah.
coconut industry. Now we're realizing
everything.
that the coconut oil is one of the best oil in the world.
Coconut, sugar,
It's a
cocoa.
situation directly that now we have to look at
Yeah.
getting back into.
Yeah,
No,
because we
and
got
because of
lazy.
that, yeah, or we had to bring it in from Guyana. We have to we have to bring it in from
We did
Guyana. We
not
have
get
to bring
lazy,
it
you
in
know. We
from.
didn't get lazy. It is the PNM. They destroy
Mhm.
everything that we had in this country. We had sugar cane. We had the cocoa. We had everything, the
Yeah,
citrus. All you remember Trinidad and Tobago, orange juice and grapefruit and those kind of thing. That is what we
yeah,
knew
yeah,
growing
yeah,
up. All of a sudden, they
yeah.
kill everything.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to me. We talk about the cult of the PNM. That is what it is. They kill everything and they bring in all kind of rubbish for us to consume in this country. And I want to
Yeah.
see this
Yeah.
government bring us back, get back the farmers to putting up the citrus field right in how you call this place, going to
Saroni?
Flanagan Town and all those places. Plenty citrus, pomerac, orange,
Yeah,
grapefruit. It's fields of it,
yeah.
acres of land. Those things just stay like that. Those are what we want to see revamped. We need to produce our own food in this country. We have enough
I think we're
land.
Agreed,
gonna
We
see
have
agreed.
more of it,
capable
Esther.
farmers. Pardon me?
I mean, like, I think we're going to see more of it because just today we had the second distribution ceremony for the currently leased lands and stuff like that. So I'm people are going to start growing and planting and stuff like that. It's not going to be overnight, but we're
Want
going
to
to
see
be a country that
acres.
produces more again.
Yeah, we used to do that years ago, and thanks to the PNM, they are the ones who closed down everything. Just imagine Tobago. I remember as a young person going to Tobago. Every time, that time was the Panama, sailing for 8, 9 hours. When I coming back to Trinidad, you talk about provision and all kind of food I coming back from Tobago. You can't see that again.
Mhm.
You never would have seen doubles and KFC and all them things in Tobago. Now, because Tobagonians used to cook their food, the sweetest food you could have gotten was from Tobago, and you're coming back to
Yeah.
Trinidad with that. Now, you have KFC, doubles, Royal Castle, name it, a set of fast food. Tobago wasn't a place of
Yeah.
fast food, right? But
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
following the
we lost
trend.
our flying fish industry. We lost
Eh?
our flying
You
fish.
understand?
Flying fish was a
Flying fish.
very big thing. When last you all had a good fried flying fish,
Only
literally.
when I
Guys,
go
you
to
Remember?
cannot
Barbados. Only when I go to
exactly.
Barbados. You
So
don't get
I
that
would have
here
told, as I
again?
said, and if I and if that's why I said literally, if it were me, seeing that we would have lost part of that industry, I would have literally moved to see if we could secure, even if it's 500 million, to create our own fish farm where we would have been able to capture some of those fishes, bring them back, breed them, and then restart to generate back that industry. Because when you do
Yeah.
that now you're putting back into the ocean, and that is going to restart what we have lost. And I think if they did that,
Yes.
if they look to move in that industry, yeah, we good to go.
Yeah. I
But
want to say
I
a
wait.
special good night. Special good night to Farmer Kane. He's one of our viewers. And yes, he's saying, what about rice? We used to, come on, listen. It's sugar cane,
Hmm.
citrus, rice, coconut, cocoa, coffee. It's all of that we had here. Good night, Farmer
Yes,
Everything we
Kane.
used to do,
Thank you
Guyana
for
is doing
viewing.
now.
yeah,
So we have
and they're
those are
doing
the
it
things that we have
very
to
heavy
look
too.
back into.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
and
they're
stop
going all in.
importing and stop importing the junk that we importing from America. Sad to say, America food is to kill us. Obesity and cancer, diabetes, all those things from those tin. Everything in America, nearly everything is in tin. Nearly down to the
Hmm.
fish is not fish from the ocean. It's terrible. I tell you, when I'm in America, I have to always go to the farmer's market because you in the supermarket, oh my God, you don't know what to buy. Okay, so we need to come back to that. We need to come back. The best pigeon peas was produced in Tobago. That's right. And you know what else used to be really nice? You see the not the sour soursop, but the sour soursop too, but what you call it, passion fruit. I could never forget that. The Tobago passion fruit
Hmm.
was a different kind of passion fruit, boy. Inside jelly, but nice when you bring that and you're making that juice. I used to love to get those things from
Mm.
Tobago. Farmer Kane, thank you
Yeah.
so much. A real farmer you are. You understand what it is we lost. You understand what
Nice,
we lost.
nice.
Those were the things, you know.
Yeah.
So we need to go back, and it's not too difficult. It's just the willpower and for the incentives for farmers to get out there and really do what they have to do. We need to appreciate our farmers. They used to work real hard in this country. But thanks to the PNM, thanks to the PNM, they kill everything. Yeah? So we need to move forward. We really need to move forward. Oh, our time
Well,
has
lady,
fly. It has fly. But
no
I
let
want
time
to say
fly.
I
Mm.
feel good. There are many things to happen still. But of course, that budget has lighten up the tension a little bit for the people who have sense, the people who could see and understand. Of course, everything is not what we expect yet, and we're going to continue to advocate for the right thing for our country and for the citizens. But I know that our Honorable Prime Minister, she knows what has to happen, and she is rooting. Just remember, people, it's not her alone. And if she alone have to do everything, they would say she micromanaging. But she allowed people, the ministers, to do and expect them to do things in the best interest of our citizens. And I think for the most part, most of them are doing and working towards it. It can't happen overnight. It's going to take a little time to bring things back together. Just remember, the PNM sent this country down to the dregs. All right, some people don't like to hear it. It is the reality. Maybe if you are one of the 1% or you're hanging with them, you may not understand what I and we are talking about on Real Talk. But that is the reality. We are down to nothing, and they have to bring this place back in an order, according to the young people. They have to bring it back in an order before anything could really happen. So yes, I want to thank my friend Lyndon for dropping by tonight. It's always a pleasure to have you. And of course, my co-host, I just feel I can't
I
do it
just want to
without her.
say,
But when you see she can't be on, I think I had to call Lyndon and say, boy, come on and be my company here tonight. You
I just
understand?
want to,
I want to, I want to say big up to your producer, whoever your
Yeah.
producer is. Yes, yes. Big up to your producer for
Producer
working so
again,
hard
big
to
up.
make make sure that your program on point. Yes, and I really
Yes,
hope that
thanks.
some sponsorship comes your way to the show, and we have more guests coming through to the show to have these good, valuable
Yeah,
conversation.
we will start doing that shortly, especially since my co-host mightn't be around. I have to make sure I have some guests to take up her space.
I just want to tell people, do not listen to the PNM, right? They are very confused. We need to feel sorry for them. Let us not forget these are the same people who went very, very happily, right, to line up and pay for property tax, right? These are the same people now who are complaining that the UNC is now charging landlord tax. They are very confused, right? They are very, very confused. So we need to feel sorry for them, and when you can, ignore them. That's how I want to finish
For
today.
real, for real, as you said that. When some people were saying, don't pay the property tax,
They
you're
line up
seeing
in the sun
lines
and
all
rain.
over. I tell you, they're happy to pay tax. They just be happy. They can't afford it, but
Yes,
they're happy to pay it. And they're
they
unhappy now
happy.
because they ain't got no tax to pay. They want to know how the country go
Yes,
run. Just imagine
yes,
that only being set free by a woman who
yes.
cares, a woman prime minister who cares about the well-being, and all
Hmm,
your complaining. All your complaining. What
hmm.
next, boy? Well, Auntie Kamala might have to put some tax. And watch me, if they had put tax and raise gas and do everything, they'd have still complain, eh? They would have
Yeah,
complained, right? But
yeah. They would
thank
have say
you,
who winning
thank
now.
you. You understand? Get quick to ask who winning. Right?
I'm just waiting for the Honorable Divine Jonathan to say next year. Now that we have considered the mid-review budget, we have decided to take another dollar off of super. Hello, it's now you see
They
Yes,
will
the ways
cry.
ahead of
Oh
you.
gosh, they're
yes.
gonna cuss. They're gonna
They had
start
like
cussing for
so
sure. They will start to cuss. Well, people remember tomorrow morning from 10 o'clock is the opposition going with their lies and to confuse the head a little more, right? So we're going and wait for it. We're going to wait for all the nonsense the opposition going to come with tomorrow, God's willing. Because I know they ain't coming to say nothing nice. They ain't coming to say, well, thank you, finance minister, for doing X. They would never do that. They come in to lie. So let's look out for it, yeah? Look out and be ready, ready to respond. Yeah, so
Good night, Dr. Esther. Good night, Hadassa.
have a
Thank you for
wonderful
having
night,
me.
my
bye,
dear
Linda.
friend. We would see you again and take it easy. All is going to be well. Don't worry. Everything will fall in place. My darling Hadassa. Woo!
Yes.
My viewers, love you. Love you. All those who put in their comments, thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. Yes, we appreciate you, Jason Mitchell, Farmer Kane. I'm missing some of the names here. There was a Niles. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, have a wonderful night and be safe in the day, okay? Love you all. Bye.